SoCal Filipinos, in partnership with FilAm ARTS, presents Punny Pilipinos, hosted and moderated by Keith Pedro, with our guests Christine Gambito of HappySlip, Jeppy Paraiso, who's Tita, and Mary Grant the Filipina. And now, let's welcome SoCal Filipinos, Jason Listina.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first day of Asian Pacific Heritage Month. My name is Jason Listina, the founder of SoCal Filipinos. We are so excited to have all of you join us today for today's event in partnership with FilAm ARTS, Punny Pilipinos. I'm excited to hear from today's panel as they discuss how they got started and their experience. I actually have the honor of introducing you to our host this afternoon. With his new critically acclaimed comedy album, Filipino, hitting the airwaves, comedian Keith Pedro has been one of North America's rising stars. Now, with a few viral videos and recently featured on Kevin Hart's new Laugh Out Loud network, along with his COVID-based comedy EP entitled The Vaccine, Keith has been touring all across the globe, spreading his hilarious wit to many different audiences. Please welcome Keith Pedro. Hey, Keith, how's it going?
Jason, thank you very much, man. This is so much fun. Thank you for having me part of this discussion. This is great. You're looking good, buddy. You're looking really good. How do you feel?
Got a fresh haircut just for you guys.
Ooh, I hope you weren't breaking any pandemic rules to get that haircut. You have to go underground.
No.
You have to go
mask and everything. So we're good. So we're all good. But I'm really excited for today's panel. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you take it away.
Yes, well, thank you for having me, guys. Well, this is it. My name is Keith Pedro. I will be your host for today. So thank you for tuning in and welcome to Funny Filipinos, presented by SoCal Filipinos and the FilAm ARTS. And today we got a nice group of panelists that sure is going to rock your world tonight. And we're going to let them know and let you guys know exactly what they're into and how they got here in the game and what all their accomplishments in the field. So let's get right into it. So I hope you're pumped. Fasten your seatbelts. Let's do it. Here it is. Funny Filipinos. Our first panelist does not need no introduction. She's been killing the game for almost 20 years. Since 2006, she's been killing it on YouTube. Show some love for our first panelist, Christine Gambito, aka HappySlip. Show her some love.
Hello. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, SoCal Filipinos and FilAm ARTS. Good to be here.
Good seeing you. How's everything? What's new with you?
Man, just, trying to stay afloat during this pandemic and homeschooling and, tornadoes all around me. I have so much to do all the time, but, just making it through. Can't complain. So at least we're here to smile, have a good time. And that's all you can do, Keith. That's all you can do.
Hey, that's all we can do. As long as HappySlip is staying happy, that's all we can do. Good to have you. All right, our next guest. This next panelist is like the Donald Glover of the game, from chef, singer, artist, everything, killing it. You showed some love for my main man, Jeppy Paraiso, but some of you might know him as Tita.
What's up? Oh my gosh. What's up, Keith?
How you been? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
You glowing, man. We sponsored by coconut oil. Look at that skin. God damn. Woo, nice lid on the show.
It's the water. You have to drink water. No, it's probably sweat, because I got my second vaccine today. So I hope I don't go into a fever during this next hour or so.
You might just pass
but
out.
I'm good. I'm good right now. I'm good.
Just let us know if you get vertigo. We'll come real quick. I'm pretty sure one of the viewers is a Filipino nurse.
I'm fine. I'm hydrated. I know if there's any nurses in the house, we're going to ask you in the chat for any tips if I break into a fever or anything.
Checking out his pupils. We might jump in the chat and let us know.
No, are they dilated? I don't know. Tell me.
You're looking good. You're looking good.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having you. Okay, our last panelist. Let's bring up our last panelist. Just been killing it with her memes and characters and her funny sketches from every single platform there is. So show some love for Mary Grant, the Filipina.
Woo woo! What's up, guys?
How you been, Mary? You good?
I'm doing good. I'm alive and I'm breathing and doing well.
Are you what's your medical history today? Because we want to make sure you're good too. You want
I
to.
am
Now,
good.
did you?
I am almost 100% vaccinated. Next week will be my 2 weeks since my second shot. So, but I'm good. I'm good to go.
We're feeling good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, wicked, nice. Make sure that 5G is working well in ya. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Haha. Okay, those are the panelists for today, and let's start it off. And once again, guys, I am your host. So with that being said, if there's any questions you want to ask, anything you want to interact with, we will just hit it up in the chat and we will get into it later on in the show. But feel free to get involved and add us and tweet us and do whatever you got to do and hit up at that chat line, because we're here to have fun, and this is all of it first laugh. So let's get right into it. My first question is for the one and only HappySlip, Christine. So Christine, because you're such, the OG, the godmother, the ninang of this game, as what you some way. How do you think? What is it about your content that resonates with like the Filipino culture, and how do you manage to keep doing it successfully and keep staying afloat, as you like to say you like to do? I had a sound problem. I didn't really. Can anybody hear me? No. Is there a technical issue? Can we get IT?
I can hear Keith, but I could not hear Christine.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't hear Christine either.
Oh yeah.
I hope the answer was really good.
It looked really good.
It looked passionate too.
I was into the anime. I was like, oh, she's telling it.
Yeah, that was passionate.
Okay.
There she is. There she is.
Like,
Okay, we good? What? Is there a tornado outside? Is there a tornado outside right now?
Take two.
not right now, but my gulay. Maybe something is on the way and I don't know. It just like ended. It was like, hope you enjoyed the stream. And I was like, oh, crap, what happened?
All right, so back to that question. How do you stay relevant with such good content that resonates with all Filipino and the Filipino culture? Like, how do you do that?
I think, it's just about staying true to the moments that, they're real life moments. So starting out in 2006, It really helped that I was just an early adopter of the platform as far as using it as a show platform. I think this whole broadcast yourself idea was new to everyone. It was like, what do you mean? But what do you broadcast? And there were cat videos and prank videos, but not really a crafted skit kind of show. And so I had already been doing these kind of sitcoms for my family, like 30-minute sitcoms. And I would get in all the, the auntie costumes. Okay. And this is all based of what the family wanted from me anyway. They're always like, imitate your auntie so-and-so, your uncle, your yeah. And then I got sick of doing that, standing up in front of the family, doing that for every holiday. So I would make sitcoms and have them watch it. So all it was an adapted like 3 to 4 minute kind of video starting in 2006. I was like, let me try this. And to my surprise, I just didn't realize that it would take off as quickly as it did because I wasn't sure, but I think people relate to it because they see themselves in it. They see their own aunts, their own relatives being portrayed. So I'm supposing they relate to it in that way. They see their own family. So
It's spot on the money. I used to watch your videos when I used to work at like the Best Buy.
Oh.
And we would click into your videos on the laptops and watch your thing. And you were making videos back in like maybe 2008, I would say, right? 2008.
Yeah, started in 2006.
And that's like making YouTube videos with a disc. Like you were making videos with a video camera with like that was hard work. Like These YouTube guys now are just selfie screen, edit with the thumb. You know, they don't even have to leave their house. You were putting the work in. So
if only I had the
right.
iPhone, the quick culture of doing everything on the iPhone. Man, back then was the Apple G4 and the thing was overheating and I'd have to wait overnight just for a 3-minute video to compress so it'd be ready for upload on YouTube. It would take an entire night to compress the thing. So
a video cake, like you just put it in the oven, you come back from school. All right, there it is.
You know what I mean? That's
video's ready.
And when you said a disc, I wasn't even in that technology yet. I was doing mini DV tapes on that old camera,
right.
And at least it looked kind of HD for compared to pixelated webcam quality that people were putting up. But anyway, yeah. So
no, congrats and kudos to you. You've been putting in the work. So yeah, thank you for that. I hope that was very refreshing to hear for all the listeners and viewers. But my next question is for my Jeppy. Jeppy, is Jeppy there?
Here.
Jeppy?
I'm here.
Okay,
yeah.
I want to make sure there wasn't a sound issue. I didn't want to be like, so I want to like kind of slow into it.
Just in case.
Jeppy, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I feel good.
Okay. All right. So my question to you is: you're very viral from your kid, and like, how was that? How did you come up and how does that like resonate with you? Like, how did you think of that, and how did you put that all together?
Well, it was like all an accident because I think every like successful viral stories, it's always like an accident. At the time I was working as a chef, and usually my days off are Monday when all of my other friends have to go back to work. So what I would do is annoy them with Snapchats and stuff like that when they're in the office on Monday. So I would make all these little like funny videos, and then that particular time, it was Thanksgiving of 2017. And in the States, during Thanksgiving, we see those memes of like Thanksgiving clapbacks with like American families. And I'm like, how come nobody has really done like a Filipino version of this, even if it was just like a meme or something? And so I thought of doing one, and I opened Snapchat. I put that crazy filter on my face, and I said maybe the first 6 things that came to my mind about like a Filipina Tita to fill up a minute. And I sent it to all my friends, and they're like, yo, dude, you have to upload this. I was like, no, I can't upload this. I look like a total fool. The family's probably gonna get mad. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And then 2 of my friends convinced me to do it. And so I posted it, and that was it. It just went everywhere within hours of me posting it. And so it just happened so fast. I didn't even plan on it. Like I wasn't even thinking. I just said 6 funny things that came to my mind, and that was it.
Well, nice. I think, you're killing it with that. So what, I want to ask you a follow-up. Sorry. So what were you like, how did you know it was time to follow up with another Tita J?
Well, so I was like,
okay, now I gotta do another one.
I just tested the waters. I was like, let's see if another like a follow-up, a part 2 would do well also, because I'm usually like during that time, you're viral once and that's pretty much it, and then you're just like, So I was like, let me do a follow-up, and that did well. And then I did a Christmas version, and that did well. And then I did a couple of other random like filtered content with like a Tito filter and something else, and like Santa's helper filter, and those did well. And so I was like, maybe this is something I should continue doing. And what really made me decide to keep doing it is the messages that I got back in like the DMs was just like, a lot of it was people that were grieving, people that have lost a tita or a mother or a lola. And there's like, yo, your content reminds me so much of them, and it's helping me through whatever they're going through. So I was like, man, if that's the attention I'm getting by just making people laugh for 60 seconds at a time, then I think I should continue this. So and like everything happened that first year, everything was just, it happened so fast. Like I didn't even have really time to sit down and conceptualize how to portray this character. So I just let the audience shape the character into what she is today. So I'm very grateful for that.
No, nice. So that's sweet. Yeah, I love what you do, and like, for all the people who are watching right now, and like, sorry, this is another follow up. I just want to ask.
You're good.
Okay, cool. Like, because you're doing this character, and when it happens within a year, and there's a lot of people who are trying to be viral and and there's going to be that time where one of them doesn't really pop, right? Mm-hmm. How do you overcome that? Like, what's the advice you have to someone who's watching and they're like, these first 2 videos were bangers, and then the third one was like, and now I don't want to do it anymore. Like, how did you overcome that, where you're just like, nah, let's just keep going?
You gotta just keep pushing, just keep releasing stuff. As long as at your core of your content and yourself, you're authentic and you have a good message to send to the audience, you have to accept that not every video we'll release is gonna be like crazy 5 million views. So once you accept that, you'll kind of just see your rise to the bigger picture of who you're gonna become if you're into content creating. So I knew going in that not every video is going to be a hit, especially like the first and second year. I noticed like I kind of scaled back on that, where I would just do videos or content surrounding like a big event, which is like the holidays, or if something was trending at the time, I would find a way to hop on that somehow with Tita. So I think early on, I already knew going in that not everything I do is going to be a crazy success. But if I just keep pushing and keep staying true to my core and the message I'm trying to portray to everybody, then I think that's what keeps me going.
Nice. Good answer, man.
Thank you, man.
We got LinkedIn answers ready to go. Who's your PR? Jeez, Jeppy. Okay.
People, I call that like my Miss Universe answers. They're always lengthy and
lock. All right, that was Jeppy. Let's get our next panelist out of here, Mary. This question's for you, Mary. How you been? Are you good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, no, I'm just all right. Like when the weatherman comes in and there's like a delay and it's like, to you. He comes in. It's like, what was that moment? Yeah. So Mary, thanks again for doing this with us. We're having so much fun so far. My question for you is like, you're really famous for your like parodies and your memes, and you're just really good at pumping out good content. Like, what's your process of like, how do you get from A, B to C, or is it A to C, D to G? Like, what is it?
If I had a process, I would probably be more consistent with my content. But I don't. So, if I look at my social media career, I did start off doing the parodies, the Disney parodies. And then I did some, Meghan Trainor parody songs. And then I migrated to like Animal Planet, Filipino mom voiceovers. And it's just me kind of adapting and whatever I'm feeling in the moment is just what I go with. If I think about it too much, then it falls on its face and it's weird. So I think for me, it just works best to just go with the moment and what I feel.
Nice. Is there one process where you felt like it came a lot different than the other ones, but you were very happy with the turnout? Does that make sense?
Wait, say it again.
Like, is there a process where you thought of something that was unorthodox, the process of you thinking of it was unorthodox, but you like that? Like, for example, like as a stand-up comedian, there was one time I got really scared. Like, I was on the road and I got scared. I saw a bald possum. I don't know if you've seen a bald possum, but it scared me. So then I got scared, and then I pulled over and I got myself together and I talked about the moment. I just verbalized the moment to myself, and then it ended up becoming a funny joke. So now there's times where I'm telling my wife to scare me so I can think of material. You know what I mean? Like, is there any weird, unorthodox process that you've.
Well, sort of like, I guess my latest adventure is, you know, I'm doing like coffee mugs and tumblers, and I'm trying to create like a brand, I guess. And it's not really conventional subject. And, you know, I have coffee cups that say like Peck Peck Power, or, you know, like I love Peck Peck, I love Titi. And, you know, it's not, you know, the older generation is not really into it, or they're like, oh, that's gross. And, you know, G Tonji, she's got, you know, she's been about the Peck Peck Power since day one too. So, you know, I just thought maybe I could, you know, promote it a little bit more, or it should be a standard. Like, I want to rebrand the Peck Peck Power to our generation. So I want to kind of make it our own. So that it started off kind of like Jeppy was saying, it started off kind of as like a joke. I wanted to do something for myself. And then I posted a little video, and then people are like, how can I buy that? And I'm like, what? Like, and now when I make it, I'm like, man, this is the most Peck Peck I've ever seen in my life. Like, you know, like it's so crazy. Like, I thought only my family talks about it, or is like, you need to wash your Peck Peck. You know, like, I thought it's just me, but no, clearly it's like not just me. And that's just stumbling into that, I guess, is very unconventional. Yeah. So yeah. I can't hear you. Where did you go? No. Should I do a voiceover of you while you're talking? Oh, there you go. Is that you now? See, beep beep beep, Peck Peck Power to the Pecky. That's right. It's very flavorful, flavorful and powerful. Oh man, this is awesome. So we're just talking about. There we go. Okay, somebody else join me.
I'm gonna fill in for Keith as he figure out the sound. But let's go ahead and bring everybody bring all our panelists on. I have some questions for all of you. There's Christine, Jeppy. Hello. I'm playing as host. I never do this.
Hello, host.
So question for you guys. What was the moment and specific content that made you realize that you went viral? Let's start with Christine.
Well, you know, back in 2006, when you would have to pay for bandwidth in like little bits at a time for the HappySlip website at that time. And I only knew that something was taking off because the website crashed, and I was like, what is going on? Then I realized that the YouTube featured a video of mine called Mixed Nuts, because my dad would always be eating the mixed nuts, you know. And I thought it was this video that I just finished editing, and I posted it. It was Christmas time. It was more sentimental. And it was really, I thought, oh, they must have featured the Christmas video, the home video. And I looked and I went, mixed nuts. And I went, why that one? Because I was like, why mixed nuts? Because it's poor lighting. I was using outdoor floodlights that were just shining on the ceiling, and the wigs weren't even put on right, and the hair sticking out. And I was just trying to get that done while my son was sleeping, and I'm all talking quiet. It just technically was not my favorite as far as execution. So I was like, oh, that's what they chose to feature. But that's what kind of started drawing in the Filipino audience to my content. So that's the moment I knew. But here we are with Keith again. Hello, Keith.
Hello, Keith. I don't think he can hear us.
He can't hear us. Oh, no.
I'm like, somebody tell him he's
This
live.
is a technical.
I don't think he knows.
Hi, Keith.
This is what we get for talking about YouTube in 2006. It's coming back to haunt us, and bandwidth and dial up.
Dial up, you know.
Dial up. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to remember the struggle.
Oh my God, now I'm back.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Hello. What about you, Jeppy? I mean, you talked about it. Like, was that, the specific Thanksgiving one? That's the one where you realized that you went viral?
Yeah, it was the first one. And if you guys go back, I wasn't even using the filter I'm using now. it was like the big-eyed small mouth filter. And so when like I said, I did the follow-up the next day, that filter was gone. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I went by, it has like 2 million, and now I'm like a failure because I can't follow. So I used the one I use now because that filter's never gone. It's always there. So then from that day on, it just became that filter, that big mouth, big-eyed one that everybody uses. But it was that first video.
Yeah, I remember that video because my stepmom, she's like, hey, did you see this? And she sent it to me, and I was like, oh my God. And then she sent me your babysitting one. She goes, that's what I say to
That's my favorite one.
That was hilarious. The one especially about going out, don't get too dark. I can't remember, but
yeah. Are you gonna smell like the sun?
Oh yes.
Or you're gonna
get
or you're gonna get kidnapped if you go outside.
Yeah, they used to tell me that too. Oh my gosh.
What about you, Mary?
I guess my first like music video, I just kind of made it like for my cousins, like I wanted something to like look back on. And then it's funny because I reached out to Christine and I was like, oh, I'm a big fan. I'd love your feedback. What do you think? And then she shared it. And like just being exposed to her audience, like she is really what got my ball rolling. Like just to have that exposure. And then after that, yeah, I'm like, thank you, Christine.
Oh my god.
And then her fans were like, we need to see more. And I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta do more. I gotta do it again.
I gotta follow up now.
Yeah. I guess I gotta learn to feed the beast. So yeah.
Yes.
It just snowballs. Like Jeppy was saying, you gotta either get on the next trend or you gotta look ahead and just feed that beast sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of your content is geared towards, our culture, Filipino culture, and our experiences. What does it mean to be Filipino and producing content out there and pumping them out? Christine, how about you go first?
I don't really overanalyze when it comes to what I do because it's so much a part of you. You're just being yourself. You know what I mean? You're just sharing your experiences. I mean, so much of, yeah, I mean, what Mary and Jeppy put out there, we can relate to because we're like, oh yeah, I've heard that in my own household. I heard that too, and so you just immediately connect. And so as far as, what does it mean to be Filipino and create this kind of content? I don't necessarily wake up in the morning and say, I need to make this Filipino content. It's more just, hey, what has made me laugh lately, or what memory popped up from my childhood, or what did I, and I have an ongoing list actually of just thoughts that will randomly come and go, oh, when my mom said that was funny, and I'll just jot it down. And so there's a running list of just funny, relatable moments that could be made possibly into videos. And so I just work from that. So,
kind of want to add on to that question, like how important is Filipino representation in like social media?
You want to ask me, or you? I don't want to hog the stage. You know what I'm saying?
We're all like entranced. We're like, go on.
We'll get to Jeppy and
okay. So you were just saying how important is Filipino representation on social media? Well, of course, if you feel here, let me center myself instead of I'll be my dad character here. No, because it would be disaster if there is no representation of our people.
Oh my God.
Really, truly though, you do feel some kind of validation if you see people online, forget about mainstream. If you didn't relate to anybody on there, you didn't see your own family. What made this kind of new with social media is like, you could get so targeted as far as sharing your experiences that normally in the mainstream, they don't really want to hear that. It feels like they don't want to hear those stories, or they don't want to broadcast those stories. So definitely it's important in the way of when you feel you are represented, and people within our culture can feel like, wow, I can relate to that. I feel seen, I feel heard. And for a lot of people that are homesick and away from their families, it's important to them to log in and feel like, wow, it's like comfort food. You know what I mean? Seeing familiar faces and hearing familiar phrases and stories that people grew up with, that it is important to them. So that for that reason alone, you just keep being yourself. There's many others like you. that have the same experience.
What about you, Jeppy?
Oh my gosh, how can I follow that answer? Everything that Christine said. No,
what would Tita say?
she would probably be like, I don't even want to go. Let me answer the representation question first because it's fresh in my mind. For me, I think it's very, very important because, you know, the content that we all create in this room right now, it's all mainly on social media, and we all know that content travels really, really fast on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, on everything. So you're reaching like the masses, and I think we're unique because we share. It's really storytelling. We're sharing our experiences, and Filipino American families have a different dynamic from, you know, our families back home in the homeland, and maybe in families in Europe. So we're telling a specific through a specific lens. So and a lot of people don't realize that, and I think now, like this past year or so, when TikTok has gotten so like crazy popular, it gave, at least for me, it gave me a new surge of just like a younger following that didn't know a lot about certain aspects of our culture. So there, you know, I'm glad to bring that a little light to something they probably didn't know about their people. So I think it's just the gift that keeps on giving, and we have to supply that gift. And what was the first question?
Oh, just the importance of Filipino representation in social media.
I think it's really, especially now, and especially that we're in the process of breaking doors, breaking windows, breaking glass ceilings. Even just as Asian Americans, I think social media is our power right now because we can reach everybody right now. At the same time, we're trying to fight to break all those barriers. So the fight continues. You feel like fighting?
Yes.
Actually, somebody asked if they could see your merch.
Oh,
you can do that later. I'm going to answer the question, and as you're answering, I believe Keith will be back soon. So I think we got that all squared away. But go ahead and answer.
Yes. What was the question? The importance of our representation. Yeah, you know, I think like what Christine was saying, like it is important, but it's not something that like I think about, or I focus, or I go into it thinking of that. You know, like when I think of my own experience, you know, I grew up in Virginia, outside of Charlottesville, in a little teeny tiny town. And growing up, there was only Black people, white people, a few mixies, you know. So I didn't see anybody that looked like me. You know, the only Filipinos I knew until I moved to California were my cousins. And they're all mixed like me, you know, very limited. You know, we don't speak Tagalog, but we know Kapampangan, you know. So I think in my journey of being on the social media stuff and my content, it's also a reflection of my journey of, you know, if I would have seen myself back in the day, like, I don't know if I'm thinking, maybe I'm hoping I can inspire others, or maybe if people see themselves either on the screen or on social media, you know, they might be more accepting of themselves and more confident in their culture and who they are. So, you know, that's the importance of it to me, or what I guess I hope to get out of it, or help others with.
All right.
Welcome back, Keith.
Welcome back, Keith.
Hey, I had some technical issues.
It's okay.
But it seemed like the discussion was fun. Everybody's still smiling. There's no one canceled yet, but that's great. Everybody's let's keep the questions going. Speaking of still smiling, getting canceled, how do you guys deal with negative comment or the trolls, or, you know, just a straight up hater raid? Do you splash away the hater raid? How do you handle that?
I don't pay attention to I mean, the thing is, if your video has hit virality and it's outside now of your loyal fan base, you can expect there to be people that just happen to be, you know, bombarded with your video, or it happened to pop up and they may have no attachment to you whatsoever. So you have to consider the source and not take it, so hard if you're going to get just trolls on there, And my first lesson in that was when YouTube featured mixed nuts, and people are like, what the heck is this video? Like, what is she talking about? And people though got really nasty to the point where my mom was the one calling me and telling me, oh, they say the people are saying they're going to kill you and this and that. And she's like worried because they're like getting violent and they're talking about all this stuff. And I said, I am not even going to let my eyeballs look at those comments when it gets to that level. But of course, I love to read and engage with your regular audience and on everything that I put out. But like I said, the only time I don't read it is when it's something that's like millions of views and you're just getting trolls saying stuff. It just doesn't, it won't build on anything in you if you read that,
Yeah. And people can be nasty. Oh my God, like to the core. And then that's when you have to go, wait a minute, you know what?
Yeah.
First of all, you don't even know me. Like, I don't know you. Like, this is not helping my mental health. Like, yeah, people can be disgusting.
Really disgusting.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeppy?
Jeppy doesn't get hate comments.
Jeppy, Jeppy?
I do.
Jeppy's like,
weird. Next question.
No, I do, but it's rare. And usually
once a waiter came late with my salad.
Jeppy was like,
it happens sometimes. I don't check everything, but I kind of just browse to see. I don't like bullying in the comments. So when somebody's bullying somebody else in the comments on my post, then I kind of just step in sometimes if it's just very, very uncalled for and kind of under the belt. So I kind of just like, I put on the sassy Tita attitude and I'm just like, yo, stop. And don't make me see that you have an open profile because I'll start turning your pictures into memes. No, but I step in and be like, yo, that's not cool. And I'm just like, can you look around? Comments in here and you're the only one that wants to bring this type of energy up in here. So what does that say about you, boo? So I kind of just I kind of just monitor it to make sure everybody's cool, because I don't like people fighting in the comments or anything. But if it's towards me, I mean, it's nothing. We're responsible for the energy we bring to our space, so I don't allow that to affect me.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, maybe it's the same. I'd be interested to hear if it's the same for Jeppy and Christine, but definitely when I first started, there was a lot more like negativity or hate versus now, because now we're into our groove. So, in the beginning, I'm like, are people going to like this? I don't know. Oh, should I take it down? It's not doing, but now I'm like, well, if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, don't follow my page, So it's like, I feel like the people that actually follow us at this point in our careers, they like us, Yeah,
so you've established your brand enough that they know what to expect. Yeah. And so, like I said, the only time I see off the wall kind of comments are something that's been featured or on YouTube, and then it just an influx of all these other eyeballs that come in. But
Agreed. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, just
but now
kill
I'm like,
the hate.
You know what? You're not gonna affect me in my peck power.
Oh,
haters are gonna hate.
Haters are gonna hate, but I
love.
I like
a whole lot of juice. That's a whole lot of juice. That's a Costco Kirkland size peck power.
Oh my gosh.
That's a.
Oh my God, children, cover your ears, please.
So next to the negative stuff, positive stuff that happens from being a viral sensation. Has any opportunities have rise or arisen from being viral stars?
I would have to say for me, the first one where it was just like, I've won the sweepstakes is when the Department of Tourism, and I know Jeppy's going to say, oh yeah, I mean, because I know you've had a similar experience where how is it that, okay, we know our Filipino American culture here, and it's something else when another country, okay, like when the Philippines themselves reaches out to you, the Department of Tourism of the Philippines then reached out, and they wanted me to do a campaign for them. It was kind of like, what? And what was so funny is they were like, oh yes, bring your crew, and I was like, what crew, right? Oh, how they were like, yeah, we want you to capture some of the beauty here in the Philippines. Bring your crew, bring, some family and friends and all that. My mom made a list of like 70 people. I said, Mom, we haven't really hit that kind of sweepstakes now. Come on now.
Well, and then like Ice Cube, you got the entourage and everything.
Yeah, I was like, no, Ma. And then so anyway, yeah, that's one I would say I really felt like, wow, the virality helped for me to go there twice to the Philippines. How about you, Jeppy?
Oh my gosh, I have the same experience. Like three months in, like it happened for me in November. So the end of January, Globe Telecom in the Philippines, which is like their big phone internet company, contacted me for a Mother's Day ad, a commercial. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll film it here. I'll give you guys the material, and you guys can do whatever you want with it. And then a few weeks went by, and I consulted the script and everything. And then they called me. They're like, "Hey, can you fly to Manila to film the commercial?" Because I was like, "Hey, I use Snapchat, so I don't want any copyright anything on your end.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that out there." And then they were like, "Can you actually come to Manila and film the commercial?" I was like, "What? Excuse me?" And I was just in Manila 2 weeks prior, so I flew here, and then I flew back again. And so I was like, this is the craziest thing ever. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to Manila. I'll go right now. So that was crazy. I went there. I filmed an ad for 2 days, and it was such the experience. And from then on, I have partnerships with the Filipino channel and ABS-CBN, and every year we get to work on some stuff throughout the year. And so those opportunities came, and people like G Tonji comes to me every now and then for stuff. And then Miss HappySlip asked me to come on a stage with her one time in New York City.
That's so fun when you get to meet face to face. See, it's like
moment. I always cherish those little moments.
Yeah.
So I always cherish those moments and soak them up, because it could just be the only time you get to do that. So I always soak those moments up.
Your Snapchat must have been crazy those days filming that. You must have been making
it's still challenging, because if anybody still uses Snapchat, you only can record 60 seconds at a time. So the struggle is real sometimes.
What about you, Mary? Anything?
Well, I am not. I have not been flown to the Philippines yet.
We'll manifest that. We'll manifest that tonight.
Exactly, because like COVID hit. Yeah, I'm going with. But I had, I do a lot of lumpia memes, so I've had, a lot of my audience were tagging me in the Lumpia with a Vengeance, the Lumpia 2 movie, and they were like, "Hey, you should be on this movie," and I was like, "Well, yeah, like that would be great." And then I met the producers, one of the editors, the director. And, they had me, I hosted like one of their screenings. And then at the end of the screening, they did a surprise, like, "Oh, Mary, we would love to have you in the film. Would you be a character?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yes."
Nice.
I'm actually like in the same scene with G Tonji. So if you want it's going to be released soon. So opportunities, they come, and, hopefully I've got a couple of other, hopefully long-time partnerships that we're trying to work out. So that'll be nice. I think COVID definitely helped with, us honing back in on our own content and our own selves, because it's not like you could go film anymore. So I think for me personally, it was beneficial in that sense. So yeah.
Nice. So in a nutshell, for all the viewers, opportunities can be free flights to Philippines or roles in movies. Okay, cool, nice, awesome.
Yes, Department of Tourism.
Need to step up my game. But great. All right. So now the next question: is there any projects you guys can share that you guys got coming up Anything juicy? Any leaking that you can drop?
Well, I am hoping that whenever people feel safe enough to resume live shows, Jeppy knows, man, he's been to, well, he's on the stage for one of my shows there in New York City.
Very last show.
My last show before, and then, before then I was planning the second leg of the tour and everything just shut down. So, I mean, the upcoming project for me would be to try to get back to doing shows, because I really got spoiled by, well, Keith knows, man, getting on stage and doing a live comedy thing is so different than to making videos. And I love making videos, but when you have that energy on stage and you're just able to bounce back and forth off of that, I got spoiled by that. And now I'm like,
getting that immediate reaction, that immediate applause break, and that immediate laughter is just like a drug, because you just want it again and again and again. And
the energy is so different than, you know, you work and you craft this thing and then you put it out there for comments, and that's great. You know, I'm not trying to downplay and say that that's not a good enough thing. I'm just saying it's different. It's so different than live performance. So I would love for the time when I could start to plan some shows again. Yeah.
Well, right on.
Yeah.
Yourself, Jeppy?
Nothing huge coming up. I just started live streaming as Tita Che. So if you guys, I figured out a way to do that live. Right. So if you guys are on this app called Kumu, which is a Filipino live streaming app, Tita Che is on there. You know, I do it on Facebook and YouTube sometimes too. But hopefully when things get back to normal, the new normal, there'll be some great things ahead of us. So I'm hoping for that.
Yeah. You, Mary, got something new? So any like new, you got a Peck cartoon coming out or something? Like what's the, you got something cool coming up?
Yeah. Like I'm really having fun with this like merch line. So, you know, maybe I might venture off into t-shirts or hoodies or something. You know, I'm just having a lot of fun with it right now. And, you know, of course, when things open back up, I would love to, you know, go back to doing videos of featuring small businesses, you know, restaurants in areas that aren't necessarily, you know, Los Angeles. Everybody knows there's Filipino food in Los Angeles, San Francisco, but, you know, nobody knows about the Filipino food that's in Louisiana. Like, I would love to travel.
What's the restaurant you would plug in Louisiana? If you could shoot it right now, what's the restaurant?
What's the restaurant that I'm plugging?
Yeah. If you had a chance to plug it right now.
Tatang in North Hollywood. Yeah.
Okay. That's the one?
That's my spot. They got secret menus for the holidays. They're an hour or a mile and a half from me, so I don't have to go too far. Yeah,
it's like an hour and a half. God damn.
No, a mile and a half.
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
Yeah, that's my spot. But yeah, just you know, plugging along just like everybody else, and waiting for this COVID to release up so we can go back to normal, whatever that may be now.
Yeah, new normal. The new norm. I wish my name was Norman, because I would release like a comedy DVD called The New Norm. The New Norm. Okay, but speaking of new norm, the new norm might be, everybody might be, you know, social media stand-up, social media comics. So for you guys, is there any advice to anyone trying to make their mark on social media? If you can, you know, tell anyone on the come up, what's the gem? What's the gem that you drop?
Yes.
The master class.
I just normally really try to encourage people to realize the tools that they have before them, because, you know, if people grow up with social media, maybe they might take it for granted. But you know, with me trying to start out in acting, and there was no social media when I first went to New York, and I'm trying to do the mainstream acting thing, and you're trying to fit into other people's ideas. And I feel like when you go and do auditions, and it's like a director is trying to fit you in this box, and you're supposed to fit yourself in this box and contort yourself into other people's ideas, which I mean, there's a time and place for that, for you to act in something that's completely outside of your realm of experience. But what it left me was lacking in, I didn't feel like I could really share everything that I can do. And so I try to empower and encourage younger people to say, do you realize you can do anything you want? Like show all your talents and cultivate your own brand by being you, because everything about you, your experiences, your, you know, the way you see the world is all going to be unique. And you can tell, and it's like Jeppy said, storytelling is going to be so unique to your experience. And you can put that out there. You can have your own show. And have all these outlets now at doing it. And then when Jeppy said, you know, technology is always changing. So just when you think, oh, YouTube it's too hard because, you know, you're going to be like a needle in a haystack. And then all of a sudden they come out with something, you know, these new tools. And so TikTok, it's like that the whole way the algorithm works is different. And you can have 0 followers and start on there and have just as equal of a chance of getting seen as someone that has 1 million followers. It's nuts. And you can gain a following even, you know, faster on some of those tools. So, you know, I've experimented with those, but I'm not in the stage of life where I can just sit there and do, you know, like crank out these, you know, like 5 Snapchats in a day and things like that. I just don't have time.
That's a lot of work.
So that's why I told him, you got all the time in the world. You're a young person. You can do that. Then do that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I agree, because especially the whole like being adaptability and being up with the times, because, you know, I'm on TikTok, but when it comes to like, you know, the shoo, like my brain doesn't work like that. And it's like, and you do the like zoom in and then the double time. Like
that's hard for me.
I can't do it.
I edit it on my software because I can't do it on the phone.
I wish I was more adaptable in that sense. So, you know, be on all those things, learn, go with the new trends. And, you know, I think also circles back to what Christine says, you know yourself and be confident in who you are, you know, don't hesitate. You have to first learn and know who you are, and then just like own it, you know. And if they come around, they come around, and usually they will when they see somebody that is in their element, like owning themselves, like people gravitate towards that, you know.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's true, because you don't want a fan that likes you for the person you're not. You want a fan that supports you for who you are.
That's a hard game.
Yeah, you can. And then when you start dropping stuff that's yourself, they're gonna be like, "Oh, wait, who is this person?"
Yeah, like, "Oh, I don't like you anymore."
Yeah. So you might as well try that. What about you, Jeppy? What's the 2 cents you got?
Just to add on to what Mary and Christine said, I think, you know, the key is just to be, you know, authentically yourself. Start from there. Know who you are. Know what message that you're trying to portray to people and what you're representing. And, you know, I think another good foundation to have is good work ethic. And, you know, that can go for like the tiniest creator. Like if you're starting out, block 3 hours of your day or 1 hour of your day and just sit down and write jokes, come up with ideas, treat it like work. And, you know, everybody has a season, everybody has a chance to shine. And when it's your time, it's going to be your time. You just have to put the work in and just stay consistent and true to who you are. And, you know, the universe will take care of everything else, honestly. So if you stay true to who you are and be authentic, you know, what is there to lose? You're being you, and you're telling your stories, and you're telling, you know, you're delivering content from your lens, and, you know, only you have that lens. So,
yeah, no, I agree with that too, because especially when you said make it like a job, because you always hear people's excuse when, oh, I don't want to buy a ring light, it's too expensive. I don't want to get a better camera or an editing program. I don't want to pay for that. But then they'll pay the $30 that for the black pants that they need for their part-time job, or like, you know what I mean? It's like, you might as well pay for the stuff. So I agree with everything you guys are saying. And yeah, man. But now it's time to check in with the audience. Here's a time where the audience can get involved and ask some questions. So let's see if there's any questions here. We have We got Lisa. She goes, how did you guys come up with your specific characters, and are they based on people you know? Who wants to take that one?
I mean, do you want one person to answer each one?
Yeah, very briefly. Yeah, you can do it very quickly if you can answer the question.
Okay, briefly. Yes, the characters I come up with are definitely people in my own life, and sometimes I will meld the characters together, like characteristics from this auntie, and then make her into one auntie character, and to represent. So and then just any other funny characters I come in contact with in everyday life, I'll be like, that is interesting. Write it down in my running list.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying it's funny because actually my mom is here. She just flew in last night, and
hi, mommy.
like,
Hello.
Ma, come say hi really quick. What do you think about when I do my Filipino mom accent?
Hi, mommy.
Hi, mommy.
Hi, mom.
Hi.
No, it's funny because when I was doing the Filipino mom accent, she was like, I don't talk like that. And it's funny because she's been in the South, so she doesn't. She talks like a Southern.
Oh,
Southern Belle.
Southern
Southern Belle.
Oh my goodness.
I love that because I'm from Northern Virginia, and none of us talk like that here. So I love having people from like Southern Virginia talk like that.
And that would be me because I'm from
I know. Oh, we're all from Virginia.
What in the world?
Two down.
I didn't know, Mary. That's
right,
cool.
the VA.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
my Filipino mom is a combination of 3 aunties, and I told my mom that I was like, no, it's like Auntie Norma, Auntie Melda, a little flavor, and she's like, oh, good, okay, that's good. That's nice.
It's not just me.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, but characters.
Nice.
I think we all draw from
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of flavor from somebody we know. Yeah, it's fun.
Can I talk?
Yeah, you want to say something really quick?
Yeah, I think for Mary Ellen is the reason why she is who she is now. Is I have helped her instill within her that she's Filipino and white, Filipino and American. She's not white, she's not Filipino, but she's both. And she have that special gift of doing the different accent, that like heavy accent, southern accent, and even like English accent, and even Pakistan Indian accent. I'm overjoyed with her abilities to be able to act. I'm really thankful for her, and I'm proud of you all that you stand your Filipino. I'm being touched right now.
All right. That is like
who you are, and you can't be somebody else's, but who you are, and stand for it.
Good,
amazing.
That's
amazing.
Good
job. Happy Mother's Day.
If you,
Happy
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. If you became a rapper, Mary, that would be your intro like skit. Like how Jay-Z has his mom talk. That's it. You should have recorded that.
That'd be awesome.
We got a few more questions, guys, before we log out. So, would you guys perform together? Would there be
Of course.
Funny Filipinos tour coming up? Would that be a thing?
That
or
would
a video?
be hilarious.
Holla universe.
Always open to, hey, if paths cross, just like when Jeppy was able to come up to New York, I was like, hey, that's always fun to.
I'm so down.
Right on. And who are your favorite comedians?
My gulay.
Oh man, I'll go first.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, my love for the accent came from Rex Navarrete, because I grew up during that time, and he was the first one I saw doing the stuff we do. So I would have to say Rex, since that was my first exposure to anything like the content I do today. So he was like such a big inspiration. And Tyler Perry, Medea, that has a big influence on how Tita Che is. So Medea was a big influence on the sassiness and snappy of Tita Che.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would have to say Rex also for me as far, I didn't even think though, oh, let me watch this comedian to think that I'll be on stage one day. I didn't really know that what I was doing for my family was stand-up comedy. But I think when I saw Angela Johnson, I was like, hey, that looks familiar as far as like her storytelling style, and then but her family rise Latina, you know, and so, or Mexican American family, very similar experiences, culture clash, and a lot of you know, and Big Fat Greek Wedding, that movie also made me that was inspired.
I love that movie.
The actress was doing a one-woman show where she portrayed all the different characters of her family, and she did that because Hollywood kind of rejected her, saying, well, you're not really a leading lady and you're not really, you know, and so she just wanted to show all her talents too. So she was an inspiration to me as well. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved and I was obsessed with Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I remember I was like 10, 11, and I saw the movie where he was a voiceover actor, and like, and he was like, "Oh, hello, you've been fire," and I was like, "Wait, you can get paid for like doing accents?" And you know, I can do British accent sometimes and an Australian one if I want to, and I was just always like inspired the way Robin fully and 120% like puts himself into character and like becomes a different person. And you know, I used to record Aladdin and play it back when the genie comes out of the lamp, and I memorized the whole thing and all the songs, and like I was obsessed just because of his like pure character work.
Yes.
Nice. What is your guys' favorite Filipino food?
Sinigang.
Yeah.
That's such a hard question.
That's
Just
my
one?
comfort food.
Yeah.
Just one.
I'll take adobo. Combination pork and chicken.
Ooh, that's
Combination.
possible.
World.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with like the dessert stuff, because growing up in Virginia, there was no Filipino food restaurant around, so it was really special when I could eat like ube ice cream or like ube cheesecake. So really anything dessert with ube, I'm like rub it all over my body.
Yeah, ube's fire. It's fire. All right, guys. So this is pretty much the end of the conversation and the discussion here. Thank you guys for tuning in and coming part of the show and giving us your insightful answers for all the viewers. And I'm very happy to host this and moderate with you guys. And this was a really fun time. Before we go, where can people find you? Plug whatever you need to plug. Shoot it out. Do whatever you need to do. Let people know what's up. Go ahead.
For me, just HappySlip, that handle you'll trip upon my social media. That's the key. One word, HappySlip.
HappySlip. For me, at Jeppy Paraiso on all social platforms, you can find me.
Nice.
And me, Mary Grant the Filipina. You can find me everywhere too.
Perfect. Thank you to panelists. I want to thank you guys. My name is Keith Pedro. I've been your host. You can find me at Keith Pedro. Same thing. One thing to type in. That's all. Keep it very simple. And let's bring out Giselle G out here. And thank you, FilAm ARTS and SoCal
Actually, we're going to bring me on. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Jeppy. Thank you, Mary. Thank you to all our viewers for joining us. Thank you to our partner, FilAm ARTS. Giselle, we can't do this without you. Our next event is going to be on May 15th, as we're actually, there was a mention of this, but we're going to be hosting the release of the Lumpia with a Vengeance issue 2. So we will be speaking with the creatives behind the issue of that comic book. And also, we'd love for you, if you could see that scrolling on the bottom, if you enjoyed today's talk, support FilAm ARTS with a donation. The link is below. You can find them on Instagram at FilAm ARTS LA. So everybody have a great afternoon, and thank you for joining us.